I thought I was done with this character Hui. For the last 20 years, I have looked at this specific character for, several times, and I thought I had found everything about it that I could find. That at least that was relevant for the Zhouyi. But when one of my students asked me to tell a little bit more about this character, I thought, well, let's just look at my notes that I gathered the last 20 years and make a summary of these notes, and then I'll share that with my students. Oh, little did I know that when I started this, that I would go into an entirely different direction than I ever expected. So, if you are not interested in the etymology of Chinese characters and character studies in general, and how Chinese scholars deal with Chinese characters, how they explore them, and the path that I prefer for studying Chinese characters. If you're not interested in all that, please don't watch this video, because it will be really boring for you to look at what we're going to discuss now, because it's all very technical about Chinese characters, components, etc. And there isn't really anything new, no new insights in this presentation. Maybe a little bit at the end. At least I will tell my perception of this character Hui, how it relates to the Zhouyi and what it might mean. But other than that, if you don't like Chinese characters, you're not interested in Chinese language, etc., please don't watch this video, because it will be a waste of time. Oh, and you already wasted 2 minutes now. So please do something else, knitting or something like that. Well, anyway, Hui. Normally, when I start with looking at the character in the Zhouyi, I have this PDF which contains the received text of the Zhouyi as well as the excavated versions. And that is often where I start, just to have everything in one place, all the different characters. If there are different characters, I can see them on one page. And I always, most of the time, I start with that PDF because, it's convenient. I always want to see the received text alongside with the excavated versions. And this is line text from Hexcom 13. I think this is the first line where Hui... No, that's not true. That's not true what I'm saying. This is not the first line where Hui occurs. But anyway, this is where I started, and I looked for that character Hui, and the PDF showed me these versions. And from the top line of Hexam 13, it says there's no Hui, no Hui, no Hui. And so, it's not all Hui there in this last column. But then I saw this note 7. And this note 7 said about Hui that the Fuyang Zhouyi originally has this character. And in the other versions of the other line text of the Fuyang, where Hui occurs, Xiatong means that it also uses that character. And I thought that's interesting, because they transcribe it as Hui, the character in the received text here. But actually, it is this character. And I thought, let's look that up in the original edition of the Fuyang Zhouyi. So I grabbed my copy of the Fuyang Zhouyi, and this is what I always try to do, and this is also what I advise everyone to do. When you're looking at excavated text or bronze inscriptions, oracle bones, etc., try to work with the original image of the object. In this case, the bamboo manuscript of the Fuyang Zhouyi, or what is left of it. And when it comes to bronze inscription, try to find a rubbing of this bronze inscription. And the same goes for oracle bones. Don't rely on transcriptions, because as you see in this sheet here, in the Fuyang transcript here, it is transcribed as Hui. But if it weren't for this note that the author of this PDF added, I would never have known that it originally says this. So always go back to the original. I think you will hear me say that a few more times. So this is a copy of the Fuyang Zhouyi. And we see here, indeed, this character, which I find very interesting. In this also another strip with that character, and here so as well. But funny enough, one of the slips has actually the character Hui from our received version. Which I thought is interesting because it shows there's definitely a link between these two. And the author of the Fuyang Zhouyi mostly used this very enigmatic character, but also sometimes he used the character from the received text. And this is what you often encounter in old manuscript, is that on one place two characters are being used, but the context shows that they actually have the same meaning. So I thought this interesting, this new character. I find it especially interesting because the right part of this character is the component pu, which refers to divination. So in the Fuyang Zhouyi, this character explicitly is linked to divination. So the character in the Fuyang Zhouyi also has this divinatory meaning, which goes a little bit beyond this idea of the normal translation of Hui, that of regret and repent, something like that. So because of this component pu, the character suddenly has this very direct link with divination. And I find that interesting. Why? Well, in case you didn't know it, the Zhouyi is a book of divination. So I was wondering, can I find this character, which I personally had never seen before, can I find it in any of my dictionaries? And behold, of course, the Hanyu Datsujian dictionary had this character. The Hanyu Datsujian second edition contains more than 56,000 characters. So I shouldn't really be surprised that I found it in the dictionary. But anyway, it actually, this character that we find in Fuyang Zhouyi only has one meaning. And it's even in the Zhouwen dictionary where it says that this character is the upper trigram of a hexagram. And it quotes the Shangshu for that, the Shujing, the Book of History. It says that we have a Zhen and we have a Hui. And in this character, it says that this is, that's what the Zhouwen says, there's the right part is actually the meaning component. And here we have the character Mei, which is the sound component, which probably in the old times sounded quite similar to what we today pronounce as Hui. And then the dictionary itself says that it's the outer trigram. Hexagram has two components, blah, 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 and the upper component is called the outer trigram, and the lower part is called the inner trigram. So then it quotes another dictionary, the Yupian, which says actually the same. That's the source that it uses for this, that this character from the Fuyang Zhouyi refers to the outer trigram, which is called this character. And the inner trigram is called Zhen. Today, it says, we write it as Hui, our current character in the received version. I found this also very interesting because this person from the Qing dynasty, in his explanation of the Zhouwen, he says that in divination, milfoil divination, lines are going down, start at the bottom, going upwards. Therefore, the lower part, the lower trigram, is called the inner part, whereas the upper part is called the outer part or trigram. And then it says that, quotes Zhang Xuan here, who says that Hui is actually means this character Mei, and Mei refers to the end. And it is this character Mei with the sun radical on the left is the final phase of the moon. Therefore, it is called Zhong, the end. And that is also why the upper part of the hexagram is the end of the hexagram, which again relates to the character from the Fuyang Zhouyi. This is actually explained as being the upper trigram, and the upper trigram is the end of the hexagram. So, well, all fine and dandy, but I was wondering, is this character actually being used in any text other than the Fuyang Zhouyi? Can I find this character in other old text, either transmitted or excavated? Well, the problem with this character is that it's an extremely rare character. And to find the character in an electronic text, the character has to be incorporated in the so-called Unicode standard of Chinese, of characters, of fonts. Like our alphabet is incorporated in the Unicode standard, as well as numbers, signs, and thousands of symbols are being incorporated in the Unicode standard, as well as the Chinese characters from dictionaries. And to be able to find a Chinese character, you have to be able to type it. To be able to type it, it has to be incorporated in the Unicode standard. If a character is not in the Unicode standard, then it's very difficult to find that in an electronic text. So this character from the Fuyang Zhouyi is an extremely rare character. And it is incorporated in a so-called extension set of the Unicode standard. So, and this extension set is a set of characters, Chinese characters, that are extremely rare. And when a character is in an extension set, then very often authors don't know, they actually don't know that the character is in an extension set, and that they use a specific font for that, and that they can use it in their own articles or books if they want. Most scholars don't use extension sets from the Unicode standard, which means that for a rare character like this, when they want to use it in a book or article, they replace it with an image of the character, which makes it, for me, impossible to find it in the text, because you have to be able to type the character and find it in the text itself as a Unicode character and not as an image. So I thought, I didn't expect any text. I didn't expect that I would find any text in my file repository, which contains more than 60,000 PDFs about numerous kinds of subjects. And I thought, let's just search through these PDFs. I have a search program for that, and see if there is any text that contains this very rare character. So did someone use it in their text? Surprisingly, I got one hit. This character is being used in the Zhouyi manuscript. And again, this will not completely turn over your ideas and notions, meanings of the original character Hui that this whole presentation is actually about. We're still talking about the variant characters that are encountered. But it is interesting that this character from the Fuyang Zhouyi is mentioned in this transcript of the Zhouyi manuscript by Constant Cook and Zhao. Stock definition. So it says here in one of the strips, there's this numerical hexagram, which has as a theme negotiation. It says that when there are 3 male trigrams alongside a female trigram, and this female trigram is on that position, it means wife and husband are seeing each other and you can negotiate. That's what it says in the translation by Cook and Zhou. In case of negotiation, if 3 male trigrams join a female trigram and the female trigram is in the upper register, and if a wife and husband set of trigrams appear as a match, then negotiate. This probably has to do with matchmaking. And this set of trigrams here, this specific combination says that it is okay to start the negotiations about the arrangement and the terms, etc. And in Cook's transcript, they use this character, which, as we have seen, refers to the upper part of a hexagram, the upper trigram. So that is what they say in the index. They say that Zhouyi, which only occurs once in the Zhouyi manuscript, refers to the upper register position. And here again, it quotes this example, which is actually this text here. So I found it, by the way, a little bit weird. And I think I will talk more about that later, because if this character already refers to the upper part of the hexagram, then why add this character shang, which means upper, on top? Because the character in itself already implies that it's on the top. So it could, in theory, as far as I know, this character could just have been left out. Because when the female trigram is at the position of that, which automatically implies the upper position. So I don't understand why the author added the character shang, but I have some ideas about that for an alternative translation, and actually we're going to look at that in the next few sheets. But anyway, about this character. I thought, well, let's look at what the original Zhouyi manuscript actually shows. Because, as you know, you should always go back to the original manuscript. A photo, rubbing, whatever, always go back to the original. Don't rely on transcripts. And this example shows that you should really do that, because I looked up this sentence in the Zhouyi manuscript, and what did I find? I did not find that character with the pull radical. Actually, it is not that character, but it's this character, or this one. Two variants of the same character. So, and these are the things that often puzzle me. Why do they transcribe it as this character, while it in fact is giving me this? That's the original character in the Zhouyi manuscript. So, and that is why you always have to go back to the original, because the transcripts aren't always completely showing what the original text is giving you. So, anyway, what is also interesting here is that the upper part, which looks like this, is actually a character that is written like that. And so, which means that the top part of the character from the Fuyang Zhouyi is actually missing. When the character has that upper part, it clearly shows in the, well, clearly not so much in this these examples, but we have here the part for mother, and the upper part is actually the upper part of the character Mei. So when there is an upper part in the original character, then you should transcribe it as that. But there isn't an upper part here in the original character if you look carefully. It's actually this character, which means it shouldn't have that upper part. So this character is the original character from the Zhouyi manuscript is actually quite different from the character that Cook and Zhou give. Well, Cook and Zhou probably relied on transcript for the Zhouyi manuscript, and I don't have the impression that they really looked at the original here, because if they looked at the original, they would not have given that character. Well, anyway, I was wondering, do we know this character, the original character from the Zhouyi manuscript? Well, and you can see I'm still going down the rabbit hole here, because I'm not talking about Zhouyi, the character from the Zhouyi. I'm talking about different characters here. That's what happens when you start studying Chinese characters and their etymology. Well, surprisingly, the character, well, not so surprisingly, the character is mentioned in the Hanyu Zhejian dictionary, and it says that this character, which is also this character, two different characters, same components, so they are related to each other, and it means mo, which in the context in which it is being used in the examples means that it is an idea or a plan. It also means to consider, or it's also, and that's what I found interesting, counsel or counseling. So that is what the character mo means in other texts. And well, maybe we can use that for the Zhouyi manuscript. What I also found interesting is that it's used as an onomatopoeia, a sound transcript. Is that the right word? Sound sound representation of sound. You know, like when in you have it a lot in comic books when someone hits someone and you have this kapow or varum. These kind of things, these explosive kind of sounds, these are onomatopoeia, sound representations. And this character, Mo, is also used as a sound representation. This is, by the way, not in any way related to our character Zhouyi, this meaning, but I just found it funny. Because as an example, it says here that Mo, the sound, is as someone is falling down, suddenly falling down, and it says here that someone is falling down, and it says that that character is used for that. I thought that when someone was falling down, it would sound like ah, but here in this text it says it's Mo. I think when I'm falling down, I wouldn't say Mo, I would say ah. But it also says here, and that quotes the Zhouyi for that Zhouyi mentioned this character, which says is the sound that the cow makes. And later on, it is written as Mo. And it gives us an example text. Late, when in the evening, when the cows return to their enclosure, they say, Moo, moo. So, moo, moo, moo. I'm sorry, getting carried away. So, and that is moo. That's the sound a cow makes. So, and cows apparently say the same thing in every country. Moo. So, and I think this is also actually a modern usage of this character, which is also one of these interjections, I think it's called, when you say like ah or oh, something like that, and it's So, Shama, what's going on? And here another usage of that here, like, what's a dollar? Oh, I know. Which reminds me, by the way, of when I'm in Belgium and when I say something and the listener is surprised by that, then in Belgium, in the north of Belgium, they can respond with more. So I say something really interesting and they reply with more. More. And well, that's probably this. More. So something they have to consider. More. So anyway, I'm completely getting carried away by this character. So I was wondering if in the Zhouyi manuscript this character Mo could be used, because uh, I'm still bothered a little bit by this character Shang. So I was wondering if we could translate it like this: if there are three male trigrams together with one female trigram, and the female trigram is in the upper part of the council, so now I'm reading this character as the council, and now I can use Shang here, because when this character refers to the council, or the result of the divination in this case, and which is actually this, then I would say then you can use Shang here, because then it says it's in the upper part of the divination of the council. So this was just these were ponderings when I saw this character from the Zhouyi manuscript. But I'm also slightly annoyed by this book by Cook and Zhou that they don't give the original character, and that I have to go back to the original manuscript, because it makes you doubt every transcript. So every time you use transcript of an ancient manuscript, you think, well, is that really what it says? Or do they think it says that? Is it their interpretation? Is it their version of this ancient manuscript? So anyway, back to the Zhouyi as related to these variant characters. Zhouyi is already in dictionaries explained as being the upper part of a trigram. Of a hexagram. And it's also called the outer trigram. So the interesting thing, though, is that the Zhouyi does not give that as a meaning for Zhouyi. It says here that Zhouyi means to regret or to repent, if you want. And it has the character for heart, for the meaning component, and this character Mei is for the sound. So what I found interesting is that the Zhouyi does give this character, which it explicitly explains as the upper trigram. So this also shows there's definitely a link between the character Zhouyi from the received text of the Zhouyi and this character from the Fuyang Zhouyi. So, and we prefer, I think we shouldn't really read the character from the Fuyang Zhouyi in a much different way from Zhouyi in our received version of the Zhouyi. But we're still dealing here with the variant characters in the Zhouyi, and let's look at the other manuscripts and how they are transcribed. We have seen that the character for mother is written like this. And the Shanghai Museum manuscript gives, instead of the character Zhouyi, it gives these versions, which is actually the mother character and a heart below it, which is in many books transcribed as this. But you see that this character has this upper part, this part, but that is not in the original. So this is not a good transcript of the character from the Shanghai Museum manuscript. And yet you will see a lot of transcripts will give you that character. But that's not it. And as you can see in the Fuyang Zhouyi, there is this little crown here, which is actually the upper part of the character Mei. So when that part is missing, you should also remove these two lines, which makes turns the character into that. The Ma Wang manuscript written on silk actually contains the same character from the Shanghai Museum manuscript, but in a completely different style of writing. But this is actually the character that is also in the Shanghai Museum manuscript. So, and that, by the way, I found really surprising that they are able to see this character in that. I mean, it just looks like someone pulled the brakes while he was driving, something like that. Skid marks, I don't know. But but anyway, it is that character. And yet, in the transcript, from the Ma Wang manuscript, they say it should be read as that character. So again, always go back to the original, because then you will see the actual character and not how the the academics think it should be read. So the Shanghai Museum manuscript does not give the character from the received text, and nor does the Mawang Dwei text give the character from the received text. They both give this character, or I repeated it here, there. That's the character. We have the mother character on top and the heart character below that, which really isn't that much different from the text from the character from the received version, but nevertheless, it is a different character. So something that you should at least explore, as far as I'm concerned. Well, fortunately, my dictionary of loan characters, the Guwen Tongjia Tsujian, contains this character, and it says that it has the meaning of mo, which we have seen before when we were looking at this character from the Shufa manuscript, which means that it has to do with schemes and ideas, planning, etc. And that is how it is being used on bronze inscriptions with this planning and I think what was the proper? Let me go back, because I lost the proper translation here. Oh yeah, idea, plan, strategy, plan is mainly, it's plan, strategy. You have this goal and you're going to work towards it. That's it. So where were we? So, and that is also how, with that meaning, this character is being used with that meaning of plan, strategy. So, which is very interesting, because the Shufa manuscript uses this character, which is related to planning, strategy. And the Shanghai Museum manuscript and the Mawang Dwei Jing also use this character, which is related to planning, strategy. So we're constantly getting back to this idea of planning and strategy. So I'm warning you, this doesn't really need to be relevant for the Zhouyi, but I do find it interesting that we constantly get back to this idea of planning. And it doesn't really relate to the Zhouyi because it doesn't fit the context in which it is being used. But anyway, this is what happens when you start to explore Chinese characters and their different variant versions. You end up with a shitload of characters that at the end don't really add anything useful for the original character that you were planning on studying. So, but this is my journey and I'm going to take you through it. So, this character from the Shanghai Museum manuscript and the Mawang Dwei text is being used in bronze inscriptions. And here we have an example where this character probably refers to government who has plans to carry out something like that, the plans from the government, maybe something like that. But you see here, it is very difficult to see here, but it's actually this character from with the heart radical below. So this character, but it is being read, that's why it's between brackets, as mo, as plan, scheme. So, and that's on this object, which I think was some sort of dagger. I'm not really sure, or a musical I think actually musical instrument. So, well, you know, this link between this character and this character Mo for planning, that's not really something new, because Cargren already linked to in his Grammata Syriaca Recensa. He gives the characters here with under this entry, and here with 948 we have the character, and here for Mo for plan and scheming. So it's already in early times, and that's also something that he said somewhere else, as far as I know, that the characters Zhouyi and their different versions are already used in old text to refer to planning and schemes, etc. So Yes, and you might be tempted to see Hui in the Zhouyi also with this meaning of planning, but it doesn't fit the context, as we will see. So this whole part up till now, well, I'm not still not sure how it relates to Hui and if it is in any way useful for Hui. And at the same time, um, I think in my own personal interpretation of Hui in the Zhouyi, I think I'm using this idea of planning, like it's going back to the drawing board and revise your intentions, schedules, etc. Your whole planning. So, but that's mainly interpretation. I think when it comes to translation, the context of the Zhouyi shows that you can't replace Hui with this idea of planning and etc. So let's go back to Hui and let's forget these characters, variant characters for now. So, do we find Hui on Oracle Bones? Oldest source for Chinese characters. Do we find it on Oracle Bones? No. And yet there is this character. Maybe it's helpful if I zoom in. Do I have a zoom here? Where's my mouse cursor? I have a magnifying glass. I'm going to zoom in here. Yeah, oh wonderful. We have this. Oh, then my pen isn't working. I'm going to zoom out again. You see, this is completely improvised. We have, oh, it's really going well. It's typical Sunday. Where's my pen? We have this character here, which is actually the old form of, where is it? Of okay. There it is. Of this character, which we have already seen as component in the character Hui. And this dictionary, this is from the Jaguan Zhejian dictionary, I think. It says that it is being used with the meaning of mother. And then it lists an example inscription. It says it's also being used with the meaning of Hui. Well, this is our character from the Zhouyi, the character Hui that this presentation is all about. So this character, which in old form is written like that, or like that, etc., is being read with the meaning of Hui, regret, or repent, or something like that. And then it gives an example here that about the king hoping that he will not have regret. So it is also being read, that's what it says here, with the meaning of this character, Hui, which has this sun radical, which actually means that it's overcast, so cloudy. And we find that usage a lot with the character Qian for hunt. So here it says that in this example text here, it says that it talks about overcast, being cloudy weather during the hunt. And that is actually a combination we see quite a lot. These are all example sentences from Oracle Bones in which the character Hui, or I should say Mei, occurs. And in this section here, all these examples talk about Qian, the hunt, and Hui. So, and in most of these examples, the character is being read as this character. Can I draw that? I wonder. My Chinese is really terrible. There we are. So something like that with this radical. That's the being read as overcast. So it's not. Most scholars don't read it as regret, although there are a few instances where it can be read as that, but when it's combined with qian, with the hunt, it's often read as related to the weather. So, and that is also a meaning that is given in another dictionary. It says it's being read with the meaning of overcast, but it's also sometimes read with the meaning of hui, regret, but it's also being used simply with the meaning of a woman. So, um, and well, that is how the character um, is being read in Oracle Bones. This character May. So we don't have Hui, but we have this character May on Oracle Bones, which is being read as Hui, and as well as some other characters. Well, anyway, I have this app on my phone, Playco, and it has this additional dictionary from Outlier, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, who are actually two men who are writing etymological descriptions for each Chinese character. And that's an add-on that you can buy for Playco. And when you buy that, then you have for a lot of characters extra information that talks about the etymology of Chinese characters. So I thought, well, just out of curiosity, let's see what they write about this character, Mei. What do they say about the etymology of that character? And they say that character Mu, woman, is both a form component and a sound component. So that is possible for that character Mu being a mother and but also a sound component. But this is what really surprised me. They say that the character depicts a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion, indicating the original meaning, a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion. And they repeat that here. Original meaning, a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion. But I thought that I haven't found any examples of inscriptions where the character is being used with this meaning of a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion. And even the Jagowen Genming Zhejian dictionary says that this original meaning is not found on Oracle Bones. So how can they say that the original meaning is a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion when we don't have any examples? We don't have any text in which that meaning is being used. So I was confused. And I thought, let's send them this question to them. So I said to them, John and Ash, who actually write this etymological dictionary for Playco, I said, well, you say that it depicts this woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion. That is the original meaning. But I wonder, has the character ever been used with this meaning? Do we have examples of texts where it is being used with that meaning? Because on Oracle Bones, it seems to have a meaning similar to mother, or it's the earliest version of Hui, repent, or also this Overcast dictionary. And I have the impression that a woman with her hair made up in a beautiful fashion is not so much a meaning of the character, but more a description of what it originally might have depicted. But a description of the character is not the same as the meanings that it had. So I wanted to know, why do they say that this is the original meaning? And Ash, well, he became slightly defensive, but anyway, his reply was interesting. He said, we have to examine all of the evidence and put forth falsifiable hypotheses and choose the one that explains the most data in the most reliable and systematic way. That means we have to take form, sound, and meaning into account and their evolution. And one of his teachers, Lee, once said in class that the original meaning has to be related to the form. And Ash asked him why. And Lee said, because if it isn't, then all paleographic research is meaningless. I found that a very interesting statement. But later on, Ash said, what I'm really saying is that paleography is basically the historical linguistics version of forensics. It's more like walking into a building that has had a bomb go off in it and trying to figure out what happened, and less like calculating bullet trajectories given muzzle velocity, the shape and weight of the bullet, and blah, 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 blah. There are many oracle bone characters whose original meanings don't show up in oracle bones. But we know that the meaning used in oracle bones aren't related, or I should say, we rationally suspect, because their form has no relation to the meanings. When trying to determine the original meaning, you have to take all evidence you can get your hands on into account. Well, summarizing his reply, what he's actually saying is, well, it's just guesswork, hypothesis, assumptions. So we don't have any text in which May is being used with this meaning of a woman with beautiful hair decoration. But we think that is what the character shows, that is what the character depicts. That is our interpretation of the character. We don't even know if that is what the original author of the character tried to show us. But that is what we see in it. And what we see in it, that is what we use for giving the character its original meaning. But it's all guesswork. So original meaning, I'm not sure about that. But anyway, this was also one of the steps that I took in this whole journey. So the character May is used on oracle bones, and I found this fragment quite interesting because it contains typical kind of words and phrases that we also find in the Zhouyi. And as you can see, it's a fragment. This is a fragment from the Zhaoyuan oracle bone inscriptions. Most oracle bones fragments and samples are found near Anyang, that's where the last capital from the Shang dynasty was. But more to the west, where the area of the Zhao tribe was, the tribe of King Wen, Duke of Zhao, etc., the plains of Zhao, there's a spot, Zhaoyan, where also oracle bones were found. And that shows, these fragments show two things. First, the Zhao people also practiced oracle bone divination. And second, these fragments show that the Zhao people made sacrifices to people from the Shang dynasty, which clearly shows they really had a strong bond, because these fragments are often dated before the Zhao conquered the Shang dynasty. So these are fragments from a time when the relationship between the Shang dynasty and the Zhao dynasty was more or less okay. And that is what these few fragments that we have from that area show. So, and this fragment contains a character Zhou that we find in the Zhouyi as well. That's the character for blame or curse from the ancestors. And we have here this character Mei, which is being read as Hui. Now, I can't read the complete inscription. I have transcription here, but it's too enigmatic for me. But I did look up a few articles about this inscription that I could find. And actually, I think these two lines that we have are two different divination sessions. I think that is the case because if you look at the fragment, you can see more or less two different styles of writing. Here is some more or less small print, and here is larger writing. And that often indicates two different divination sessions, maybe even by two different diviners. And that's what is something that happened a lot, that one bone was used for several divination sessions. And I don't think that these two are really related. But here, the first line says that the diviner or the king wished that they were able to expel curse from the ancestors or blame. And here it says at the end, Yong, that can be used, that is the preferred direction. And that is a character Yong. This usage of Yong is also something that we find in the Zhouyi. This is an inscription that contains several links with the language of the text of the Zhouyi. But I find the last line more interesting because of the character Mei, which is read as Hui, because that might give us a little bit of a hint of how um, the people from the Tao Yuan Oracle Bone inscription saw this character, and how maybe it tells us how we can read it in the Zhao Yi. According to one study that I read about this inscription, it talks about someone being able to pacify an area, the Yi area, but they are not able to do that. They are not able to pacify a certain area. So to bring peace to a certain area, there's probably some kind of revolt, and they had to do something about that. But the oracle said, no, you will not be able to do that. And therefore the diviner, as an omen, it said, the final outcome, it said, Hui. That is what I find interesting, because that's also how it occurs in the Zhouyi, just as Hui, as a final statement. Well, this is the final conclusion, this is the outcome is Hui. But saying that it is regret or repent, that word in itself doesn't, I think, completely show what it could mean to the people from the Shang dynasty and from the Zhao dynasty and from the author of this bone. Because simply saying, oh, you should repent, that doesn't make any sense in this context. I have the impression here, and now I'm starting to interpret this character, so be warned. I have the impression here that this last line says, well, we're not able to bring peace there. That's what the oracle says. So we have to, what's the right word for it? We have to, well, go back to the drawing board and reconsider our plans and come up with a new plan, because I think that this author still wanted to pacify the area, because I don't think that this inscription was read as, well, okay, well, we're just going to give up on that and let the revolt take its place, and, well, that's it. I think the king still wanted to bring peace there, but that he had to find a different strategy, a different plan, which brings us back to this idea of Mo and planning and strategy, etc. So that is how I think it should be read on the oracle bones. Well, we also find this character Mei on bronze inscriptions, where it is used with the meaning of instruct. So, but it's also being read with the meaning of hasten or quick. That's what's actually the two meanings here. The other meaning is the name of a person, which you see a lot. But here again, it is used with this meaning of planning, strategy. So there is a link maybe between Hui in the Zhouyi and planning and strategy. So at least that's the impression that I get. But you have to be really careful with conclusions like that. Well, the character is also used with this idea of mother. Where is the character? Oh, there's the character in another inscription. And in another inscription, it is used with this meaning of instruction. And this is from the Wuding vessel. And this is the German translation of it by Ulrich Lau in his. That's a book that actually should be translated into English, as far as I'm concerned. Although the title might already be challenging to translate in English. Quellenstudien zur Landvergabe und Bodenübertragung in der Übertragung. What? There's no. Okay. Patricia, help me out here. In der westlichen Zhou-Dynastie. So here it is, the character is being used with the meaning of instruct. Who erteilte sodann dem Kontraktaufseher die Instruktion, du mögest die Pfeile schenken. You can give arrows 5 in a hand. So, well, that's quite a gift. 5 arrows. Okay, well, anyway, that's how this character is being used in bronze inscriptions. So, and we also have another inscription where it's been translated by Charles Johnson as reverently, although normally it's read as hasten quick. And Constance Cook in Golden, the editors of a source book of ancient Chinese bronze inscription, give another translation for the same inscription. They translated as hasten. So you have, these are actually two translations of the same inscriptions. As you can see, scholars don't always disagree. Well, this is on bronze inscriptions, and personally I don't find this really important for the meaning of Hui in the Zhouyi. So the Zhouyi uses Hui mostly in these three versions. We have Yao Hui. There is regret, or you should have regret, something like that. But also there is no regret, or regret goes away. And these are actually the three, what do you call it, phrases in which I always thought that Hui didn't really make any sense. And the translation of Hui as regret, well, personally, I always had some trouble with that. But knowing what I know now, I think I might come up with a translation that I personally feel more comfortable with, or more interpretation, I should say. So it's mainly used with these three phrases. But there are also intriguing exceptions, which I still have to study. And I'm not going to do that in this presentation. Because this line from Hexagram 16 talk about Hui. And then again it says Yao Hui. We have Hui in one sentence. Here we have Wu and then an extra character, Hui. And this middle character says something about Hui. And then this enigmatic phrase, we have Hui, then we have the character for danger, but yet it is auspicious. And these are sentences which do not confirm to these three patterns. And often when that happens, these strange usages of Hui can tell a lot more about what Hui actually means. Here again we have Dong Hui, Yao Hui. So, these are things that I need to explore a little bit more to find out what Hui is actually about. And I think that because of these sentences, the meaning of regret doesn't really fit in the Zhouyi. Personally, I have the impression that it means something else, which is related to this idea of planning and instructions, etc. Because, you know, we have this sentence in the Zhouyi. It says that the divination is auspicious and regret would go away. But we also have this sentence which says that the divination is inauspicious and regret goes away. I'm not how that this doesn't make sense to me. So how can in both instances, when the first line the divination is auspicious and in the second line the divination is inauspicious, how can in both these lines regret go away? I don't think it talks about regret. Well, what I found funny when I was making this presentation is that PowerPoint came up with design ideas. That's what the program sometimes does, based on apparently based on the contents of the sheet. it gave me these design ideas, which I found really funny, considering what Zhouyi is all about. So anyway, back to the topic. So, well, I'm not really convinced that Zhouyi should be read as regret. Other meanings of the character Zhouyi that the Hanyu Surgeon Dictionary gives is this. It's this character that we've seen before with the sun radical, but it that which has the meaning of exhausted, being used up, which also brings us back to this meaning of that it's the end of something. And it's also being used with this meaning of bad luck, mainly in this component of Hueti, bad. And these are the things that I use, these meanings, for my own view of the character Hui, which goes a little bit further than simply regret. Because if we go back to this sample, I think that this sample shows that regret doesn't entirely capture what this last sentence is about, because this is about land that has to be pacified, that has to be brought to peace. And the omen here says, well, there's Hui. And simply saying that there's regret, or that you should regret, that doesn't make any sense. I think it relates to this idea of strategy and planning, and that it actually says, well, you need to reconsider your plans. You have to go back on your plans. And that's this idea of, more or less this idea of regret, where you have to admit that this isn't going to work, what you had in mind, and that you have to think of something different. And then when you have found these new plans, then you can give it another try. And that is how I see Hui. And when the Zhouyi actually says that, here we are, there, whoa, here we are. So there is Hui, Yao Hui. It could mean that it actually means, well, you reconsider your plans, and your strategy needs some revisioning. Your planning needs revisioning. So I'm combining this idea of of planning, but also maybe instruction. I'm combining that with the meaning of regret, that you have to go back on your plans and try something different. Without regret means that you don't have to go back on your plans, and that this is the right course of action. And with Hui Wang, that means more or less something similar like that. That Hui, a revision of your plans is not really necessary. Something like that. So that is how I personally, after all this, am reading Hui with relation to this idea of planning and instruction, etc. So, and that brings me to the end of this presentation. And this might be just part one of Hui, because I'm not really done with this character. I think there's more to find about it, and especially how it relates to the Zhouyi. But you have to stop at one point, at least for now. So, do I have any regrets about this study? No, it was fun to do. So, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. So, with that, and I see the presentation is, but that's the fault of Camtasia. It's really working here, so I'm going to insert this later. I want to finish this with one song from Edith Piaf, and Je ne regrette rien, which translates as I have no regrets.
Public. 。 regrette rien, ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien, non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé avec mes souvenirs. J'ai allumé le feu, mes chagrins, mes plaisirs. Je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, car ma vie, car mes joies,